Hi, this is Guam Lee. In my group, I have Christian Strozer and Jalen Wyatt. We have Chapter 3, How to Stay Focused on What You Really Want. Um, let's get started. Okay. First, is change possible? We must understand that people can change. It just requires some work and effort in order to make change possible. It all starts with taking a good look at yourself. We must become observant and analyze ourselves to understand what our strengths and weaknesses are and how we can use them to our advantage. Next, principles. There are certain principles that the chapter discusses that can be beneficial to this. The first principle of dialogue is to start with yourself or start with your heart. If you cannot get yourself right, it was like to restart to old forms of communication. But examples of this would be debating and manipulation. The issue is that our motives degenerate. We must understand that we have to fix the problem, believing that others are the source of all of our problems. The best way to work on us starts with me. Next is maintaining focus. First, they are very smart when it comes to knowing that what they want, no matter what distractions may invite them to slip away from their goals. We must stick to them. The second one is that skilled people don't make foolish choices. Others may justify unhealthy behavior by explaining that they had no choice to fight or flight. There are always choices. It's up to you to make the right one. There's always a choice, as I said before. There will always be options and things that follow once an option is made, if that makes sense. When under attack of some sort, the heart can take a sudden and unconscious turn. It's times like this when the pressure is on and we must be strong with our opinions of what we choose and stop worrying about the goal of adding to the pool of meaning. We begin to start looking for ways to win. Normally, we have winning at the top of our list, but what we most lack in most cases is passion.
All right, thank you, Guam. So now we're going to address who is the problem. Whenever there is a confrontation between multiple people or a conversation between multiple people, oftentimes we become our own problem because we are trying to convince or sway someone who is on the exact opposite spectrum or exact opposite side and trying to bring them from their extreme to our extreme. Well, we must stop trying to change others, but just kind of influence them. But the way that we're supposed to influence them is by focusing on our motives and focusing on what we have to say and what our heart truly desires out of this conversation, no matter what happens. Because either way, we're either going to push the opposition further into their side, or slowly start to bring them over to our side. Um, but it is built in all of us to win. It is built in all of us to try to get people onto our side, and the desire to win has just been innate in us and just instilled into us um, before we even knew how or what winning actually was. And an example of this would be if you look at a small child and you see a kindergartner or um, a little kid who doesn't necessarily get what they want, they might throw a tantrum or they might cause a scene because that's the only way that they know how to voice what they want and voice um, that this is their desire. Now, we're not trying to say to that you must have to throw a tantrum or anything like that, but the commitment level. I'm sorry, I'm moving this screen around. The commitment level to knowing what they want and knowing that desire um, is what we kind of want to mimic. Um, However, unlike the kindergartner, we must recognize when the going gets tough. So, like when the going gets tough, we're not supposed to just throw our arms up in the air and start yelling a tantrum and things like that. As soon as we begin to face criticism for others on why something won't work or basically why our idea or whatever is not um, is not capable for success, uh, oftentimes we begin to question ourselves and we begin to throw those tantrums. But um, rather, we should truly focus and hunker in and just. It's good to have those healthy questions on like, okay, how to make this better, but don't ever have those questions on, oh, is this actually going to work and things like that. So the actual questions that you need to be asking when it comes to that kind of conversation and when it comes to this kind of interaction with somebody or when it comes to your idea is, what do you really want for yourself in this conversation? What do you want in this kind of setting? What is the best thing that works out for you? And then you have to ask yourself, what do you want for others? What do you want others to feel after this conversation? What do you want others to believe, or what do you want this idea to bring to them? And then the third and last question, which is actually probably the most important question, is what do you want for that relationship between you and that person, and between you and that idea? Like after everything is all said and done, do you want to have that relationship built up? Do you want to have that relationship severed or tarnished? Um, it's all about your desire. And then once you're able to focus on those three things, those three questions, that's how you're able to healthily approach um, whatever conversation you go into, whether there's confrontation or not, because you're going to be more aware of your motives and you're going to be able to properly address um, the opposition or properly state your claim or state your point of view to someone. Um, that's our presentation. Hope everybody is doing well. Shout out to Christian for the slides. Shout out to Guam for the first part. Hope everybody's well. Have a great day.